Hello, Kubrick Lover 1972 here. I put up a reminder maybe it was about an hour and a half ago that I was going to be on tonight. The reason why I haven't been on these past few days, I had a cold. I was really miserable. Um, the night after I was on, I had a really bad cold. I just couldn't go to work. It was pretty bad. And then the following day, I did go to work, but I wasn't in tip top shape. I was pretty bad. So I've had this cold. I think I'm almost. I think it's almost run its course. So I think tonight I'm ready to get back into it. So um, I know I'm just a minute in and there's nobody here. But of course, people will be watching the recording later on. So maybe what should I do? Well, I'll start off. So, anyways, when I was on last time at the end, I was showing a movie. I want to leave off with that movie because I didn't cover it entirely, and I thought I would get back, start with that one, and then continue on. And I just want to say about Barry Lyndon. I was kind of I couldn't remember everything about it, but like with Barry Lyndon, one of the great things about that movie is it's how it's shot, and it was the first film to use Zeiss lenses, which were from NASA. They were being used for satellites, and Kubrick got one of his people to. He wanted the guy to take old Mitchell cameras that used to be used in Hollywood and mount a Zeiss lens onto those cameras, because the Mitchells weren't used anymore, and you get this great cinematography. It was like nothing at that time period, because back in those days they didn't have as fast. Well, they didn't have. Well, yeah, they didn't have fast film stocks, and the lenses weren't as advanced today, I would say. So um, compared to like other period films of that time, it really is a unique movie, and but that's why I like Kubrick so much, because he had Final Cut, he had all the time he wanted, um, all the money he needed, um, and basically he made almost all his films he made were great, probably the best in each genre, and almost all of them made a lot of money. Barry Lyndon, in that particular case, it didn't do too well at the box office in America. In Europe, it did a little bit better. I don't know. I think mainland Europe it did a little bit better than the UK, but I'm not positive on that. But anyways, I think I've explained my stance on Kubrick there. So now we got. So let's just continue on. These movies that I'm doing now, they're sort of the honorable mentions, but they could be favorites too, in a certain sense. We'll call them honorable mentions until maybe I call it a favorite. So we got this John Boorman film here. This is the film I left off with in the last stream. It's Excalibur. It's about King Arthur. Really good movie. Another really good movie about King Arthur, really funny movie, is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I don't own that, but that is hilarious. I love that movie. It's so funny, ridiculous humor, but I mean, just I think it just still makes me laugh. But it's the same thing. King Arthur. This is a more serious, adaptation of the King Arthur legend, and Liam Neeson. I think maybe it's his first role in this movie. And I can't remember who he exactly plays. I haven't seen this in a little while, and there's some other big actors in it too, I believe. Yeah, Helen Mirren. Yeah, Helen Mirren. Patrick Stewart, Gabriel Byrne, and of course it says Liam Neeson. So that's Excalibur. This one, This one I showed in my lesser known Criterion titles because I did a video on when one of the Barnes and Noble sales was happening a few years ago on Criterion's. Oh, hey, Jace. When one of the Barnes and Noble sales was going on, I thought, why don't I put up a video about lesser known Criterion titles? And oh, thank you for the thumbs up. But anyways, so because everybody knows the big ones, Seventh Samurai, Bicycle Thieves, 8.5. So like this is one I saw. I took out of the library, so I decided to buy it during one of the sales. It's Blast of Silence. It's a low budget movie that was shot in New York City. It's like a gangster type flick. I guess you could call it a gangster flick, but it's kind of interesting. I think no, it doesn't have a commentary, but it has a nice making of here. Just shows what a person could do on a low budget, and it was shot in the 50s, I think. Oh wait a minute, 61 maybe, 1961. Nice, interesting film. Some of these movies I own, I didn't take out of the plastic wrap yet, so this is one of them. This is a really good movie. I don't know in terms of the transfer on this, whether it's a friend of mine on YouTube. I don't know if he says this transfer is good or not, but I don't mind it, But I think. Yeah, I own this on video cassette before I owned it on Blu-ray. Where I work at the library, in the basement, they have people they call the Friends, and they sell used books. They sell DVDs, Blu-rays, either wrapped or unwrapped. They sell vinyl, and they had this down there, and they only sell them for a few bucks. So I decided to buy it. But it's I don't know if people would consider this a chauvinistic movie, like glorifying manhood and putting down women, being misogynistic. But the director of this film is a woman, Mary Harron, and she also directed a really good movie I have on video cassette called I Shot Andy Warhol. Here's another Scorsese film. I didn't take it out of the wrap. I've seen it in the theaters in 3D. It's one of the best 3D I think I've seen in some. One of the best 3D I've seen. Hugo. What's his name? Ben Kingsley plays the what do you call that guy? Georges Méliès, the French filmmaker at the start of the 20th century. It's a really good movie. There's I think that's Sacha Baron Cohen right there. He's like this police officer inside the train station, and Hugo I think is an orphan. So I don't know if you get too much in the way of special features. Yeah, they say Shoot the Moon, the making of Hugo. Oh, and next up, I have two cuts of this film, and I've only watched the first one I bought. Now, this movie I think is pretty, in a way, awful. So the acting is over the top. It makes me laugh, some of the scenes, but I still enjoy watching it. And that's Alexander by Oliver Stone. It's got like a great cast, but just the acting's over the top. And Angelina Jolie's performance, where she has this Eastern European accent, and of course we have no way of knowing how they spoke. Like when you see ancient Rome, like Spartacus. What other movies? I don't know. Old Hollywood movies, you see them speak in like English accents. And, so who knows how they spoke, but I find the Angelina Jolie also plays Alexander's mother, and, they're basically the same age. It reminds me of North by Northwest, where Cary Grant's mother, I think they're basically in the same age range. They're very close to it, but I enjoy this movie, Alexander. I really enjoy it, and it has some making of stuff on here. Like one of the great things about this movie is that I think there was a scene where the not well there was a part during the movie where they were filming, and I think the film got exposed to the light. They opened the film magazine, and he used it to his advantage. You know, he used the colors from the film negative to work for him. I don't want to explain it too much. I don't want to spoil it, but you know, there's a scene where he's in India, and I think that's the scene where that happened. But anyways, it and this is a longer version of it. It's called the final cut. I don't know. That's called the director's cut. This is the final cut. It's even longer. I haven't watched this yet, but this doesn't have any. Wait a minute. It does have a special feature, but it's hard to read. I can't read it. I can't. I don't know if my eyes are getting worse because I'm 46. I haven't had an eye test in maybe more than 2 years. I'm supposed to see my eye doctor every 2 years, but all new interview with. I can't read it. And then this is one. This is another Oliver Stone movie. I'm sort of on the fence with. Like when I first saw it, I was really impressed. Then I reconsidered and thought maybe this film is not as great as I think it is. And then Roger talked about it, and he was trying to say why it's a good movie. And so it's like I don't know what to think of this movie. I guess I like it and I don't like it. I just don't know what to think. It's Natural Born Killers. Because you know during the movie you see this mixed media that they shot the film with. They shot with like Super 8 cameras. They shot with video cameras. They shot with film, 35 millimeter. They shot with a variety of different film gauges. 16 millimeter. Oh, you weren't a fan of Natural Born Killers. Yeah, and it's just kind of jarring, all these different juxtapositions of film gauges and video formats. But I don't know. I mean, I think Roger was making the case, and I think that's what Oliver Stone was saying. Don't shoot the messenger. It's a reflection of '90s media society. I don't know if I'm saying that quite right, but it's a reflection of the times. So okay, so now let's go to another pile. I don't know where I should go next. Well, you know what? Since Jace is here, I guess this movie is sort of like The Revenant. I mean, not the. It's sort of like a Western. It's The Revenant. This is a Blu-ray. I like this movie a lot. It's based on a true story about this man that Leonardo DiCaprio plays. I think the guy was Hugh Glass, his name. I don't know how true to life this film is, because if this film was true to life, maybe it'd be boring, and they have to make it dramatic. And I love this. I've watched it a few times, and Tom Hardy's great in it. It's this like racist settler, and the bear scene, and how he disregards Hugh Glass, Leonardo DiCaprio's son, and it's just, and I think Leonardo DiCaprio does an excellent performance. He really earned his Oscar by going through that environment. Really going through the walking the walk. Doing the scenes he had to do. And visually, it's a very beautiful movie. The cinematography is by Emmanuel Lubezki. Trying to remember if I can remember who did the soundtrack. I don't know. I can't remember. Is it Philip Glass, or is it Philip Glass, or is it what's his name? I can't think of the guy's name. I'll try not to think too much about his name and just trying to. Uh, if I think of it, I'll say it. Okay, so let's go to. So let's. Oh yeah, because Jace is here. There's a few westerns. How about Michael Cimino's Heaven's Gate? This is Criterion. I believe Sasha said that there's no intermission with this, and I guess at the time that it was shown, there was an intermission. This bankrupted UA, United Artists. United Artists had financed Michael Cimino before with The Deer Hunter, which won a slew of Oscars, was a big success at the box office. So they financed this Heaven's Gate, and it just went UA went bankrupt. It got bought by MGM. I think MGM went bankrupt as well, and I think that they were bought by Warner Brothers. Anyways, I like long movies. Sometimes I like films that are long, but they're kind of uneven. Like 1900 by Bertolucci. Even though it's long, the shooting schedule for that film, I think, was at least 4 or 5 months, which is kind of unusual for most movies. Well, they shoot long hours when they shoot a movie, and they shoot like 6-7 days a week. They're shooting for like 16, 20 hours a day. So, but maybe I think this had a long shooting ratio as well. It must have, because it's like a 4-hour movie or whatever. I don't know. I enjoy it. I don't know if everybody's going to enjoy this film, but let me know what you think, Jace, of Heaven's Gate. I don't know if it's got Chris Christopherson and Joseph Cotten from Citizen Kane, who was Jedediah Leland. He makes an appearance at the start. And Isabelle Huppert in it, and Christopher Walken, and I don't think I'm spoiling it by just saying the stars, but check it out. So, all right. So now this is not a Western, and Jace is here, but this is, I don't know, maybe Jace likes this kind of stuff. It's another Greco-Roman kind of ancient Greek film. That's 300. This was shot on video cameras, like high definition cameras or whatever. I had this on DVD, but then I got this on Blu-ray, and it has more. I think it has more special features. It's about the Spartans fighting the Persians, I believe, and they only had 300 warriors, and they were outnumbered by the Persians. I mean, you could see the movie, but history books tell you what happened. But it's a pretty good movie. Pretty enjoyable. Just a nice ancient Greek movie. I should mention, I like period films. I like ancient Greek, ancient Rome. I find those, even the bad ones, I like, because I bought. Oh, I didn't even put it on my couch to show, but I have this show from HBO called Rome. It was only on for 2 seasons, and the 2 main actors who play like people that are witnessing all these great big events, like Cleopatra, Haywoolf, Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, Brutus. They're on the sidelines. One's a centurion, one's a regular Roman soldier, and the film is. I mean, the TV show is pretty bad, but. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, 2 seasons. But I don't know. I like ancient Greek and Rome. I like that culture. Oh, you know what? Oh yeah, I got it. I have another film, Pompeii. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in these piles of movies. But all right, so let's get to the next one. Maybe I should hold that off because that's a Scorsese, and maybe Sasha will be on. So let's see. Okay, so let's go with this one. This is Diabolique. This is by Clouzot. Henry Georges Clouzot. It's a French movie. I did not like Wages of Fear, same director. I know you guys were talking about how Sorcerer was a good movie, which is a remake of Wages of Fear. But this is a good movie. It's about a wife and a mistress of a headmaster, and they try to murder the headmaster of the school, and um, things just don't go the way they think they will go. Let's put it that way. So it's a pretty good movie. This is pretty bare bones. It doesn't have any commentary or anything like that. So yeah. So uh, next we got another movie. It's still in the wrap. I got a few films still in the wrap. This film's a tearjerker. Oh yeah, you were. Yeah. Yeah, I think the new Diabolique has some special features on it. Um, Anyways, this is a film that was a tearjerker for me. I haven't watched it in a long while. I bought it like cheap at a drugstore, and it's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Oh, Wages of Fear, I'm not wild about. I know other people. I think a lot of people like Wages of Fear, but I'm not one of them. Um, well, there's only like one scene in Wages of Fear that's kind of interesting, but yeah. So, but the ultimate judge is the person who watches the movie, and if you watch the movie and you think you know it's good or it's bad, it's a matter of taste, I guess. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this is a Lars von Trier movie. It's a Criterion. It's called Antichrist. Yeah, oh, I have another Lars von Trier. I don't think I included it with these honorable mentions. It's Nymphomaniac. I guess I like Nymphomaniac. Anyways, this is I'll be showing another Lars von Trier as well, but this is Antichrist, about a couple played by Willem Dafoe and Charlotte Gainsbourg, and how they deal with their something that happens to them. I don't want to spoil it too much, but um, I, I think I was paying attention all the way through the film. Well, no, a friend of mine fell asleep during it. I don't know. So speaking of natural born killers, we got this film, California. Because of Juliette Lewis, I guess that's a connection, and of course, both roles that Juliette Lewis plays, natural born killers and California, they're pretty. I think she plays pretty screwy characters in both. Pretty crazy characters. And Brad Pitt, I really like him as an actor. Like Fight Club that I showed with my favorites. And I said the packaging of the DVD that I have was really good. So I'm impressed with Brad Pitt. I like his stuff. And well, I didn't like Legends of the Fall. I thought that was a pretty awful movie. And there's some other good actors in that, like Anthony Hopkins. But anyways, David Duchovny and I guess it's Michelle Forbes. I don't know exactly who she is, that Michelle Forbes, but they take a ride. I guess they're going cross country with this uh, dangerous couple, but um, so something happens. There's some. They're taking a chance, taking a ride with these unseemly kind of characters. They're not. They're not. They're kind of seedy. So next up, we have a Louis Malle film, Damage. I really like this movie a lot. I like Juliette Binoche's kind of understated performance and Jeremy Irons' kind of obsessive performance, and sort of her mystique, if you will. I don't know if I can say if I can say more. But they have an affair, and something happens with to complicate things. Let's put it that way. Um, Oh, she is a sci-fi actor. Um, yeah, Jeremy Irons is a pretty good actor. I I I I think he was in the second Die Hard. I've seen parts of the second Die Hard. I think he was in the second one, or am I wrong? I don't know. But anyways, damn, it's a very good erotic movie by Louis Mal. I don't know if I said that. Here we go. Yeah, so here's the other Lars von Trier, Breaking the Waves with what's her name? Uh, what is her name? Well, there's Stellan Skarsgård who plays the husband, and the wife is played by Emily Watson. Maybe this was one of her debut roles, and it's a great performance. She's kind of crazy, and she's religious, but religious in a odd way. Let's put it that way. It's got these nice chapter breaks. You know, like it's like in segments. And oh, you saw him on stage? Oh, really? Yeah. Um, and like it's like in a series of parts. This movie, and at every part they have like a title, and then they have like a landscape shot, and they have a piece of music that they play. Like your song by Elton John is one. Um, there's a bunch of other songs, like '70s songs from the time period. So really good movie. Uh, I am holding out a little to see if Sasha comes because I've got a Scorsese here. I mean, I sort of jumped the gun with Hugo, but didn't think of that. But here's The New World. This is a Criterion. I haven't watched this yet, but I have seen the movie before. Um, I don't think I saw this in the theater. I can't remember if I did or I didn't. I do have this on VHS, but I gave it to the library where I work because now I have the Criterion. This is three different editions that you can watch, and beautiful movie. I love the music by he chooses to use Wagner's Ring operas. Which opera is it? Let's see. It's which opera is it? Oh, it's Das Rheingold. I'm pretty sure it's Das Rheingold, the first Ring opera. Beautiful movie, beautiful cinematography, beautiful music, very poetic. You know, that's what I like about Pat Malik. He's just he's kind of loose and unstructured, and that's in a good way. You know, because I don't know if most directors did that, they probably would look kind of bad in the audience's eyes. But you know, Malik makes it work, and some people get mad. Some of the actors get kind of mad at him for working with him because Christopher Plummer worked on this movie, and he was taken out of a lot of the movie, and he was saying he'd never work with him again. And then some people were cut out of Thin Red Line, you know. So, um, friend of mine was saying so. You know, but that's the nature of the beast. You know, with filmmaking, you have to make a film work. You have to take certain things out. What you know, even if they're they're your darlings. Like in with writing, if you write a book, you know, you sometimes you're too close to it that you can't see what's weakening the prose or whatever, you know. Yeah, I think that's true, Wolf. Yeah. It's yeah. Yeah. It's a poetic movie, you know. Okay, so now we got this is George Lucas's first feature, THX 1138. The guy who I think he edited it and he did the sound design was Walter Murch, who I saw at the Tribeca Film Festival. I think it was the second year I was there, and it was the third year of its existence, I believe. and he was promoting Cold Mountain, and he signed my Cold Mountain DVD. Not my Cold Mountain. He signed a book he wrote about editing Cold Mountain with Final Cut Pro, and he signed my In the Blink of an Eye book. Um, Cold Mountain, I think, is a pretty bad movie. But if you buy the DVD and you watch the behind the scenes stuff is pretty fascinating. So in a way, there's some movies that are terrible, but behind the scenes stuff is, worth the price of buying the disc. So, um, but anyways, this, like Terminator 2, you can put these icons on while you're watching the movie. You click on the remote and it will show you how they did that particular scene, like how they created certain sounds. There's mention of the word Wookiee in here. I don't know. Maybe not everybody would like this, but I like it. It didn't make a lot of money at the box office, and they used existing existing places. So maybe it looks a little bit dated by today's standards, but it's about consumerism and being able to be in love, because this society is like a 1984 Brave New World kind of society, and everybody has letters and numbers for names, and real love is forbidden. So it's a good movie. I enjoy it, but it didn't make a lot of money at the box office. Okay, so got a children's film here. I saw this when I was 9, and I back in those days, which was the early '80s. I think it was '82. It was they didn't have video recorders available for most people. There were Beta usually. They had Laserdisc players, but things were incredibly expensive. It's not like today. And anyways, I saw this at this video store I used to go to, and I saw it being played on the television there. And I used to read the book, The Dark Crystal. That's what I'm talking about, because I couldn't watch the movie, so I had to relive the movie in some manner. So I read the book like 9 times. That's also the case with I think Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I'm not a Trekkie, but I like Star Trek II. I think I showed that. I did show it, I believe, in one of these streams. But anyways, I think I read the photo play or whatever that is of Star Trek II, because I wanted to relive the experience. Because in those days, I just didn't. Our family got a VCR, I think in '85. So and Wrath of Khan is '82 as well. So in fact, we saw Wrath of Khan because ET was sold out. This has some special features. It's just something I enjoy, that I've enjoyed when I was a kid, and I still enjoy it. Next up, we have let's start with the earlier film of his, Samuel Fuller, Criterion, Shock Corridor. He the character in this film goes incognito. I think he's a journalist, into a mental asylum. I think he's trying to, for some reason, he's going in there. It's an interesting film. The ending is pretty cool. How he shot this on the low budget is beautiful. Yeah. I guess that's all I can say about it, but it's a pretty good movie. I think some of these Samuel Fuller Criterions have some good special features with them, and that brings us to another Samuel Fuller Criterion, White Dog. This is about a racist dog who attacks black people. Paul Winfield's in it, I believe. I think that's his name. He plays. He's in Star Trek 2. He played. He played with. He was with Chekhov. What's his name? Terrell. I think I think his name is Terrell in Star Trek 2. But I think he's in this movie. I'm pretty sure. Or am I confusing that with another movie? He may. I don't know. Oh no, he is in this movie. Yes, Paul Winfield. Yes, he's in this movie. Burl Ives is in this film. I didn't remember that. Curtis Hanson co-wrote the screenplay. You know, he would go on later to direct L.A. Confidential. I don't know what to think of that movie, but and he's dead now. Curtis Hanson. I think he died pretty young. I guess you could say. Okay, so next up we have a old classic. Everybody probably knows this movie, but you know, I haven't watched this in a while. It's got a load of special features on it, and I think when I had the video cassette, I watched some of these features that were on it. But there's more to it. There's more special features on the disc than there was on the video cassette. I don't think I see a commentary, but it's Casablanca. It's a classic, you know. I think it's a tearjerker for me. I think like it most people, it's you know, people when they're lonely and feeling like the world hasn't worked for them, you know, so they can empathize with a character like Rick. And what's his last name? Rick something. I wish I knew that. I should know that because I've watched this film several times. Rick Blaine, yes. Like there's a funny scene in this movie. Claude Rains. Then there's what's her name? Ingrid Bergman. Conrad Veidt makes appearance in this. He's the guy at the end who says, put that pistol down or whatever to Humphrey Bogart when he's about to report the plane with Victor Laszlo, played by now what's the guy who plays him? I can just look. Paul Henry, yes, Paul Henry. They're about to leave the runway at the end of the movie. People know this movie. Most people know this movie, but Conrad Veidt was in Cabinet of Dr. Caligari many years previous to this, so he's a pretty legendary actor. But anyways, there's a scene where they're doing gambling in Rick's club, and Claude Rains says, and I can't remember it, Louis' name. He says, "I'm shocked to hear that there's gambling happening here." And then somebody says to him, "You're winning, sir." You know, so there's the irony. This is a good movie with Jude Law. Joseph Fiennes. I don't know if he's related to Ray Fiennes. Rachel Weisz, Bob Hoskins. Bob Hoskins plays what's his name? What the hell's his name? After Stalin, you had Khrushchev, and Ed Harris plays the Nazi, and it's a pretty good film about snipers. I haven't watched this. I don't think I've watched this actual video cassette, but I mean not video cassette, DVD. But I had the video cassette and I've watched it a few times. About two snipers and pretty cool film. Next movie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Somebody autographed this. I wish I could remember who it was. To Brian Best. Somebody. I wish I could remember. I'm just racking my brains trying to figure out who it was. But somebody involved with this production signed it. Yeah, so, but this is a cool movie. It's directed by Michel Gondry, who would later go on to direct Science of Sleep. which I guess was an okay movie. Then he directed another movie called oh, hello, Jay. Uh, he directed another movie called Be Kind, Rewind. And in that particular movie, oh, this is a booklet here with Jim Carrey's face in the front. In that particular movie, I guess it's this video store. Their video cassettes get ruined, so they reenact scenes from the movies that got destroyed. So it's a pretty cool concept for a movie, but it's not that good, and the film is not that great. It's pretty mediocre. So yeah, so I don't know. It's just a bunch of pages, scenes from the movie. It's really interesting how they shot this movie. The special features, they didn't use CGI. They used a lot of tricks, interesting tricks, and like Kate Winslet couldn't trust Michel Gondry. She did what she was supposed to do, but she didn't trust Michel Gondry, right? She sort of doubted him, and then but then when she saw the finished project, she was satisfied. So that's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Next up, well, Sasha's. I don't know if Sasha's here, so there's another film. I had some Scorsese that I was holding to the side until he came. And there's another film. It's not Scorsese, but he talked about. So I'm going to hold off on those until maybe he comes. We'll see what happens. We're returning with the theme of ancient Rome and ancient Greece. We've got Troy, Brad Pitt again. He's a really good actor. He's maybe he's one of my favorite younger, newer actors, like De Niro and Brando, of course, and some other actors, like all around the world. Toshiro Mifune, Marcello Mastroianni, Max von Sydow, Alain Delon, Klaus Kinski, Takashi Shimura, Tatsuya Nakadai, and of course there's women actors too, like what's her name? The Japanese actress. What's her name? Satsuka Hara. New one I discovered, Meiji Kasa. She played Lady Snowblood, and then there's Isuzu Yamada, and then there's Liv Ullmann. She's a great Norwegian actress, and you got Bibi Andersson and Catherine Deneuve, great French actress. Anyways, Troy is directed, I think, by Wolfgang Petersen. He directed the Boat, the Boot Das Boot, the German film. I guess it's accepted by more mainstream audiences, than other foreign films. Some people that I talk to about foreign movies, they don't want to watch them because they have English subtitles, and they don't want to read the subtitles. But I don't care about that. A good film is a good film. But anyways, this is entertaining. It's based on history, of course, but very, very fun, and just a great, just enjoy. I really enjoy watching this. Okay, so let's see. Where do we go now? Okay, so now we got. Of course, there's a new Halloween that came out, but this is the very first Blu-ray. This is the very first film of Halloween. The John Carpenter, 78 or 70, 78, I think it was. Anyways, this is a Blu-ray. It's got audio commentary. I don't know. I don't think I listened to the audio commentary on this. Or maybe I did. I can't remember. But I think I got this again at the library in the basement. I got it for like just a few dollars. And, why pass it up, So Oh no, you know what? No, I got this at Best Buy. That's where I found it. Yeah. So okay. So let's go. Let's see. So let's go with some Pixar movies. Monsters Inc. This was well, they kept topping themselves with each movie for a while. They were each movie after each movie was getting better and better and better. And then they made Cars, and that sort of made them go backwards a little bit. Um, like Cars, the starting and the ending is very entertaining, fast paced, enjoyable. The middle is just dead. Just it's just a graveyard. But this is really enjoyable. The scene at the end with the doors reminds me of this at the end of Coco. It sort of reflects on that to me. Coco, I like the Land of the Dead, but I wasn't too wild about the Mexican scenes. Then we got another Pixar, Wally. I guess he's sort of based on the Short Circuit, the Short Circuit robot. It's great. This film is great, because there's no dialogue for maybe is it 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but you're never bored. It's an enjoyable movie. Again, I showed my favorites, which were Up and The Incredibles, but and then this was my favorite Pixar movie before The Incredibles took that place, and then Up is equal with The Incredibles, but before The Incredibles, it was Finding Nemo. I thought that was a really entertaining movie, but maybe I just like the human characters more, and I just can't get into the animal characters. I don't know. I still like this film, but Incredibles and Up are a little bit better. Maybe because they hired an outsider for The Incredibles, which was Brad Bird. He wasn't a Pixar employee, so not saying that a Pixar person can't make a good movie because they did, but just show another perspective. This is a French movie. It's a Criterion. It's by Robert Bresson. I think there's some other Bresson somewhere around here. Don't know where that went. It's somewhere. We'll get to it at some point. This is A Man Escaped. It's about a guy. He's in prison. He's imprisoned by the Nazis. I think it's World War II, and he has to figure his way. He has to figure his way out of jail, out of this prison he's in. He's like a resistance fighter, um, but it's not like a Die Hard kind of action movie. It's a very slow paced movie. So another French movie. I don't know if I regard this as a great movie. Well, visually it's unbelievable, and that's Jacques Tati's Playtime. The architecture, the sets are incredible. How Jacques Tati um, places himself in particular shots, and then he has a person that looks similar to him in a trench coat and a fedora or whatever. It's really cool how he does that. I really enjoy that. I see that Aaron Pin is on, and I usually do these streams for about an hour, and I'm at about 50 minutes now. So maybe I'll stop about 11 minutes from now, because I don't want to clash with Aaron too much. But I think I could go on a little while. So um, oh no, I don't really have a favorite genre of movie. I watch basically everything. I even like bad movies to some extent because you can like deconstruct a film. Even a bad movie is hard to make. It's a major miracle if you write a script, if you make a movie, and even if you make the movie, you got to get it shown, and then after you get it shown, you got to have it exist after that. So it's constantly a battle. Filmmaking is not a easy profession by any means. This film is Japanese. I forgot to show it with the other Japanese movies. I don't know if I like all of it. The first 2/3 maybe are not that great, but the last part is really good. The studio that made this movie went bankrupt. I guess in the '60s they went bankrupt. It's Jugoku. I think that means hell in Japanese. And you see the results of these characters on Earth and what they have to deal with in hell. So the visual and the audio parts of the scenes in hell are pretty cool at the end of this movie. So did I say this is a Criterion? Yes, so that's Criterion. Another Japanese movie. This is Masaki Kobayashi. This is like a 9.5-hour movie. It stars Tatsuya Nakadai. It's in 3 different locations. The first part takes place in Manchuria, and Tatsuya Nakadai plays this character named Kaji, I think his name is. He's forced to be a guard at this Manchurian Chinese prisoner of war camp or whatever, but he tries to be nice to the Chinese prisoners, and then he's forced into World War II. The fighting in I can't remember if he's fighting in the ocean or on the jungle. Maybe he's in the jungle. And the third part, well, I'm kind of just giving some stuff away in a way. He's put in well, I don't think I'm giving too much away. He's put in a Siberian labor camp or whatever. So it's a statement against war. That it's not worth fighting. Next step. This is a box set, Criterion Eclipse. So it doesn't have any special features, but I think it's pretty entertaining. It's Nikkatsu noir. I think these were. I have a hard time reading the movies, the years. Maybe I have to get a new eye test. I don't know. I think it's all '60s. You got I'm Waiting, Rusty Knife, Take Aim at the Police Van, Cruel Gun Story, Cults is My Passport. I think it has like Yakuza in here and cops, and there's a reference to JFK and Lee Harvey Oswald in one of the movies. So maybe I'm rushing a little. I don't know, but this is the movie I bought. This is the Criterion I bought, and I thought, of all the Criterions I've bought, maybe this is the worst one. I'll see you later, and I'll see you later, Eric. Anyways, this particular Criterion I bought when I first bought it, and I make a lot of blind buys, but this Criterion I thought, like most Criterions, would be good, and when I saw it, I was kind of disappointed, but now I've started to really like it. I'm getting more. I think I'm really liking it. I haven't really watched it that recently, but I don't know if I've watched it once. I don't know if I've watched it twice, but I think I'm warming up to it more. House. It's about these young Japanese girls who stay with one of the girls' aunts in this Japanese countryside, and the house is haunted. And the director, I think, was a commercial director. So, but it's just a fun little romp, if you will. Okay, so I'm trying to avoid movies that maybe Sasha would be into. I'm trying to make some space here. So, Jace, did you buy the Criterion of Heaven's Gate? I don't know where Sasha is. Maybe I don't know. Who knows? I'm not quite sure, but I'll keep the ones that I think he'd be interested in to the side. So, Okay, so here's another film um, that I mentioned earlier in the stream. It's Blu-ray. I love. Again, I like these ancient Rome, ancient Greece movies. Pompeii. It's Kiefer Sutherland. He makes a good performance as this like Roman general or whatever. Um, it's sort of like Titanic, where you know what's going to happen at the end of the movie, according to history. It's a little bit of like with these movies about ancient Greece, ancient Rome, when they have actors like Brad Pitt, they or like Gerard Butler, they market it a certain sense, like because these guys have six pack abs and they're these bulky muscles and everything. So the love interest in this film, he sort of looks like Orlando Bloom, but I don't think he is. But yeah, so this one of the daughters of this Roman politician, she falls in love with a slave that they pick up, and I guess I won't say too much, but I think there's some special features on here. Yeah, there's a commentary. There's some other stuff. I've only watched it in the theater, but it's pretty entertaining, and I think I saw it in 3D. No, I'm sort of not choosing it some movies because of Sasha. I'm trying to hold off a little. Okay, so here's another movie. I think I'm going to end in like 4 minutes because maybe Sasha would be interested in some of the ones I'm showing, and yeah. So, anyways, we got this. We got Gravity. Um, it's a DVD. You know what? I think I have the Blu-ray of this now. No, I did buy the Blu-ray, and I don't know where the Blu-ray is, but I think the Blu-ray has more special features. But I like this movie a lot. Maybe it's one of the more understated films of the year that this came out, because American Hustle came out this year. It came out the year that this came out. Is what I'm saying. And there was one other movie that was it Black Swan maybe, which is good, which is a really good film. I've got that to show, but again, I'm waiting, to see if Sasha shows up. But I've got like 3 minutes now, so I don't know where he is. So let's see, what should we do next? I'm sort of maybe I should end it because some of these other films, a fair number. Well, some of them are touching upon, things I talk about with Sasha about filmmakers and genres and stuff like that. That touch upon stuff I discuss with Sasha about particular um, directors and all that. So I'm going to finish it now. I thank everybody for watching. Internet Eric, Jay, Jace, Wolf. I don't know who else was on here. I'm scrolling through the chat for a second here just to check it out and see. But anyways, I stated at the start of this stream, I had a cold, and I was very sick after the day after I did my last stream, so I couldn't do a stream, and the next day I went to work, and not too good then. I still have the cold, but it's not too bad now, but it's still there. So all right, so thank you for watching. Thanks everybody that's going to watch later on. I know I'm interfering with Aaron Pinn's stream right now. I didn't know that he would show. He's a little unpredictable as to like when he's going to be on. I think well no, I scheduled. I said you know, um, I think I put the notice up on 8 o'clock. I sometimes start a little later than the time period. Like if it says 8 o'clock, I'll start at 8:05 or 8:10 because people's clocks aren't exactly adjusted, with each other's exactly, and just to give some time for people to get on. So, all right, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.